Anyway, let me go. Let me go put you on here right now.
All right.
For the last 3 seasons, Alcoa has won the state football championship. Tennessee, if you happen to be watching on Facebook and wondering where we're doing this show from, in 3A. The coach who has been for all and I believe Alcoa has won 16 state football championships. Is that correct, Gary Rankin?
I think that's correct.
Well, we're going to 1420 NBC Sports Radio Tri-Cities. 6:30 pregame, 7 o'clock is the kickoff, and it's going to be brought to you by, among others, Urgent. A lot of people say this year your team is the best it has ever been. Okay, tell us what makes this team that you have at Alcoa special or favorable in comparison to all the others that you've had in 30-odd years of coaching down there in the Knoxville metro area.
Well, it's one of the better teams we've had. I don't know if it's the best thing we've had out in the public that we roll out all these D1 prospects and stuff, and that's really not us. We produce a good team, we think, year in and year out. Last year we won the state championship and had one signee at Tennessee Tech. So I think from the outside looking in, sometimes if people don't know us real well, I think they get misconceived a little bit. But we do have a lot of good high school players. We've got a better than average quarterback this year that's allowed us to be very balanced on offense. We can throw the football pretty well. We've got a pretty good running game. We've been fortunate this year. We haven't faced any bad injuries. It's been a real smooth year, and it's one of the better teams that we've had. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Well, tell me a little bit about this quarterback. What's his name? What's his class? And
Walker Russell, he's one of the Mr. Football candidates. Started for us for 2 years and been playing. Producing for his teammates and just everything you look for in a football player, but pretty good quarterback.
I do want to ask you something. You said you've been there for 13 years, but yet when I called you up here, Coach Gary Rankin, you mentioned that, in '86 you had defeated Unicoi County after they had won 2 playoff games in the glory days of Unicoi County football under Bear Bryant protege Lewis Thompson. And so I wondered...
85 or 86, I don't know exact year, but we did come up there. I was at Smith County High School in Carthage, Tennessee at the time.
Okay.
That was my first head job, and we did play up there, and were able to defeat them somehow. They had a very good football team. Louis Thompson did a great job coaching them, and went on to coach in Lincoln County and some different places, and I didn't even realize that or didn't think about that until somebody brought it to my attention the other day, but it was a great ball game. They had a great football team back then.
Well, I know that more recently ended the Blue Devils seasons with your future state champion teams in 2016 as well as 2015. Now, the players on this year's team, not that many that are still left over, but...
They practice with us, and they're expected to do it. Freshmen are expected to do everything that our seniors do. So,
Are there any freshmen who are getting significant playing time for you on your team now?
Zero freshmen.
Okay.
And it doesn't happen much here. We've had a few in the past that's played, but as a general rule, there's not many freshmen that play that have a big right now. Our quarterback's being looked at a little bit, I think by Tennessee Tech, Austin P, maybe ETSU, people like that. And besides that, that's about the only senior we've got that people are looking at right now. We may have some more that'll sneak in from small schools at towards the end of the year, maybe. But like I say, it's not a team full of D1 prospects at all.
Well, you mentioned that, and I don't think the Tennessee Tech or titles every year and all that. I always, what's the key then?
Well, like I say, everything in our places evolves around being a team, and I think we do a good job of that. You know, I'm not comparing this, but if you tell me how many guys that play for the Patriots, and probably holler, Brady and Gronk, and that's about the only two anybody can mention. So it's really team oriented here. Like I say, we try to find a game for one game here in 13 years that I can recall. So I think we do a good job of coaching our kids, getting them into position where they need to be. We do an outstanding job with our off-season program, and our kids take a lot of pride in playing here. This is a football town. There's no doubt about that. It's important when our kids leave and go into any place that that's all they hear about is Alcoa football. So I think that really has a lot to do with it too. It's just it's in the football words, it's a football town.
But he was born, yes, and all that. So, yes, I mean, how can you not be a football town if you're named after the entity that brought us fantastic finishes back in the day?
That's right, but we've got a good thing going on. I have good coaches. We've been able to hold on to our coaches. We've got some new facilities, which are probably some of the nicest in the state. So we've got a lot of things going for us. But like I say, we don't have a lot of D1 prospects, and that's not the way we make our living down here.
Don't discount what Gary Rankin just told you about facilities, and for that matter, basically, and keeping the coaches on board. The people at Stanford University will say, how do we win in football? How have we become one of the best football programs in the country when, one time that wasn't the case at Stanford? And not only facilities, but they have made a significant effort with housing and things of this nature to keep their staff in order. And while maybe a defensive coordinator gets a head job, or Jim Harbaugh gets the job at the Niners or something like that, they don't have the defensive backs coach going to another university. That's been a big thing for the Cardinals.
We've got a blueprint set, and our kids do a good job.
Are you going to punish that player?
If you're late, you don't play. If you're a starter, you don't start. If you're late twice, which has never happened since we've done this, you don't play. So, and that's on them. We practice on Thursday morning some, and we've got some different reasons for that. And our kids asked to do that some, and we practice before school, and it's been a good thing for those kids.
So was the player that missed, was he a starter?
He was a
Okay, so you'll make a lineup change then.
It wasn't this week. It wasn't. He did
I
it
see.
a couple weeks.
Oh, I see.
But
Okay.
if he does, there'll be a lineup change.
I see. Okay, right there. Well, the 7 a.m. practices aren't all that unusual. I mean, I know that when John Chaney was the head basketball coach at Temple, he routinely had his team practice at in the 5 o'clock in the morning hour. And one of the
yeah.
I mean, one of the reasons why is
to do that. Me high schools do that during the year because you start school too early, but we don't start school till 8:30 here. So on those days, we'll go from 7 to 8:05, and they've got 25 minutes to get dressed and be in class. So it's been a good thing for a kid. It gives them a little more rest period before Friday night. It's especially good in the hot weather. And it gives coaches a little bit of a break there, and there's some few different reasons we do it, but it's been something that we've tried the last couple of years that's been good for us.
With Chaney, one of the things was then their players were free to take whatever class they wanted to. That was a big thing with him.
And there's been some colleges. Randall Cobb played for Green Bay Packers, played for Kentucky. Kentucky practiced in the morning.
Okay.
They had football from 7 to 11, I believe. And there's some colleges that's done that before, and it's not a bad idea.
All right. Well, we've been talking to Gary Rankin. One last question I want to ask, just to get some feel for your program. I mean, it's been very successful, but when you see Unicoi County, when you've looked at the films and all that, is there a team that you've played this year that you would compare them to?
Well, not really. I mean, they're comparable. Their offense is comparable to some of the teams that we faced, and they may be a lot like Gatlinburg, Pittman, and somebody like that. They've got a good quarterback. They run some spread offense. They're well coached. So there's some teams on our schedule I think is comparable. But you don't ever know. Like I say, the running back is an exceptional player. I'm excited about seeing him myself. He looks great on film. He's got some high numbers. So it'll be a challenge to try to keep him under control.
All right. Well, Gatlinburg Pittman is a team that fell to you 56-0, and even Dobbins Bennett, maybe in a down year, but still a 6A program, fell to you by the score of 42-17. So this is the sort of team that Unicoi County will be going up against. Obviously, it'll be the toughest one they've faced all year long, and it's a team